Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater. Do you have the SAP reset date for us?
Yes, it's gonna be May the 2nd.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And let's see, as soon as the jail is ready, we are ready to proceed.
And Mr. Toussaint said to go ahead and start without him. He's gonna be a couple of seconds late because he's getting something for Judge Law, but please feel free to go ahead without him.
Okay.
And Your Honor, if I may, position 4, Mr. Cortez needs a Spanish interpreter, and we are waiting for an update on the status of an interpreter.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Gant.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, this
Yes.
will also need a breakout room for position 8.
Thank you.
Your Honor, for position 23, I submitted the waiver of appearance.
And I have that, by the way. I did
Thank you.
receive it.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't we, Ms. Kim, why don't we, since we have a waiver on file, why don't we go ahead and do position 23 as we wait on the jail? Is that all right with everyone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Who's presenting from the state for position 23?
That's
Portobello?
fine. Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Good afternoon. So for this defendant, Your Honor, we are recommending a $500 surety bond for the criminal trespass for the drug objects, $500 surety bond, which is a total of a $1,000 surety bond. So we are asking for the bond to remain a set. The conditions is that he stay away from the Ashby MARTA station, that he do ADET, that he have housing placement because he is in fact homeless, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, to add, this defendant does have a hold in both DeKalb County and Hamilton County. In this case, the defendant decided to trespass into a restricted area, which led to his arrest at MARTA. And search incident to arrest, Your Honor, the officer found a drug object on his person. This incident occurred on April 15th, 2022, where defendant Mark Smith went down on the train tracks, which was a restricted area at the Ashby MARTA station at 65 Joseph E. Laurie Boulevard in Atlanta, Georgia. The officer observed the defendant on a CCTV camera that the defendant was walking on the tracks from 8:17 p.m. to 8:20 p.m. on said date. The defendant was arrested and identified as Mark Smith. And again, search incident to arrest, a glass pipe with burned wires in the inside was found on his person, used to smoke crack cocaine. And all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia, Your Honor. We did not, we tried to run his GCIC and nothing came back. And he was on SEA Saturday and I was the prosecutor for his case as well. But it's indicative that he has some things on his record as he does have 2 holds, Your Honor. And for this reason, we are asking for that surety bond. I believe it's a total of $1,000. Nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. He is 61 years old and he has been here in Georgia for 30 years. He does not have any family. He has no employment. He has a GED. He has been homeless for a while, and he, without any funds and homeless and being unemployed, there's no way he will be able to pay for any kind of bond at this point. Since he already has 2 other holds, I would like to request for signature bond from our side. And as I'm requesting for social worker services, I'm willing to consider for BHET, and yet ADET is a little too much from my perspective since there is no conviction on his part in terms of alcohol or drug, things like that. So we would like to request for behavioral health evaluation instead of ADET. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, I'm gonna convert the good bonds to SOBs through the jail so that he can be released to these other holes. Stay away from the Ashby Marta station, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and a social worker visit.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's see. Courtroom 2, we're ready when you are.
Good afternoon, Judge. This is Sergeant Johnson. Can I please make an announcement before court starts?
Yes, please, go ahead.
Okay. I have maybe 7 defendants that has not talked to the conflict attorney, which is supposed to be Mr. Lewis for today. I have one defendant that needs an interpreter, a breakout session, but I'm the only one working this courtroom today. So if everyone could just please be patient with me. I'm the only person working this courtroom, so I need for everyone to be patient with me. But
Okay.
it's 7 defendants that has not been spoken to the attorney, which is supposed to be Mr. Lewis. Mr. Lewis.
All right, so why don't we do this? I don't see is Mr. Lewis on the line yet? So let's take all that we could take let's take Mr. Lewis's cases last. Let's hold on the interpreter case until the end of the calendar, and let's take as many as we can so we can clear as many out from courtroom 2 as possible. Is that fine with you, Sergeant?
Yes.
Okay, so who would you like to take first?
Hold on, Judge. I'm sorry. One moment. Oh, okay. I just needed, no, we can just start with position number 1. But I think
Okay.
he might be conflict too. Mr. Abdullah Harris. He's conflict, so we can't worry about him. Position number 6, Mr. Daniel, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Daniel. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Daniel, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002294G with failure to obey a signs or control device. Ms. Mitchell, are you gonna ask for a good bond on this?
Yes, Your Honor, $1,500.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Howard. Is there a history?
I don't have the file. My coworker has it because he went to felony earlier.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Mitchell.
Your Honor, in this case, the defendant ran a red light in the intersection of Northside Drive and Fair Street, Atlanta, Georgia. When the traffic stop was performed, officers discovered that the defendant had a full extradition warrant out of the city of Atlanta for armed robbery, possession of firearm during commission of a felony, hijacking a vehicle, and aggravated assault. There was odor of marijuana coming from within the vehicle as well. And the other passenger in the car was a convicted felon with a loaded gun by his feet. So based on that, we are recommending the $1,500 surety bond. From what our investigator pulled, we weren't able, it appeared there was no driving history or GCIC. So based on the allegations and the circumstances surrounding it, we're recommending the $1,500 surety bond, nothing further.
He's only charged with running a red light. As far as any misdemeanors go, the other charges I take it of being held are felonies and being held in superior court. So on this running a red light, it's going to be through the jail. I guess that's all right with you, Ms. Gann, isn't it?
It is, Your Honor. What is the amount?
$500 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Who do we have next?
Judge, we can go to position number 7, please. Mr. Fielder.
Good afternoon, Mr. Felder. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Felder, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002296Y with theft by taking. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Ninth arrest. Last arrest was last month for driving without a valid license. 2019 FTA for disorderly conduct and a parole violation. 2015 ag battery crew to the third. The crew chief was dismissed. I'm not sure about the ag. 2014 felony escape conviction. 2010 felony escape conviction. And he has a possession of a controlled substance with intent. Conviction from 2007. They gave him 15 years probation. So that should time out in September. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant stole $220 from the Exxon/Best for Less convenience store located on 3270 Washington Road, College Park, Georgia, by pickpocketing the store clerk and taking the money for the slot machine. It started when the defendant pickpocketed the store clerk while playing on said slot machines. The store surveillance camera shows the defendant taking money from the store clerk's pocket. Officers were able to retrieve $105 from the defendant, but $115 was still missing. Your Honor, there's a current bond of $1,500 surety, and the state is requesting that that bond be increased to $2,500 surety, a stay away from the Best for Less convenience store, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, the defendant is a convicted felon who appears to be a huge flight risk. He's been convicted of escape in 2015 and 2010. The defendant also has a failure to appear in parole violation in 2019. And he also has an open case for driving without a valid license from this year. So based on that and the nature of the allegations, we're recommending the $2,500 surety bond. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Terrence Felder is 32 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He is the proud father of two daughters, one age 2 and one age 7. He also has a grandfather here. We are unopposed to the stay away at the incident location. Mr. Felder has no need to return there. Mr. Felder completed he completed the 11th grade. He is now working on his GED. At this time, Mr. Felder is unemployed. He works whenever he can with his uncle doing lawn services, and also at the post office. However, he had to stop working 2 months ago because of a work-related injury, and he is not receiving workers' compensation, Your Honor. I'm requesting a signature bond given the nature of the offense. He is presumed innocent. I understand that he has FTAs. However, those are many years old. Again, we are unopposed to the stay away and would ask that you grant a signature bond if Your Honor determines that he is ineligible, then the lowest bond possible. Thank you.
All right, it's gonna be a $500 good bond, stay away from Best for Less on the Washington Road. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Felder.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Judge, position number 9, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Hilliard. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Hilliard, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002297J with criminal trespass, giving false information to law enforcement, and loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
So Hilliard is also in the felony pile that my coworker has as well.
Okay. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant criminally trespassed on the property of Miss Stephanie McDonald, common spelling, by entering her vehicle for an unlawful purpose. Officers was called to investigate several car break-ins at the Village Garden Apartments located on 50 Clay Street, Fairburn, Georgia. Vehicles from 6 different residents were reported broken into, and one of them being Miss McDonald's. The defendant was captured on multiple security cameras of the apartment complex and was seen looking in and opening car doors. The defendant does not live at said apartment complex, and he was seen fleeing from a vehicle in front of Miss McDonald's apartment, B5, when another vehicle pulled into the parking lot. When Miss McDonald came out to her car around 2 a.m., she found her car door open and a can of spray paint inside. Nothing appeared to be taken or missing. Officers discovered that the defendant was wanted out of Fairburn for auto theft. Officers received a call for a suspicious person at the BP gas station nearby. Upon arrival, officers immediately recognized the defendant from the surveillance footage and detained him. And when asked about his name and birth date, the defendant provided the false name and birth date of Charlton Samuel Hilton and December 23rd, 1997. Your Honor, there's a current bond of $3,000 surety on this case, $1,000 as to each count, and the state requests that that bond remain the same with a stay away from the Village Garden Apartments and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, it appears the defendant has 4 cycles in Georgia, but of those 4 cycles, he was convicted of willful obstruction of law enforcement in 2017, and he currently has 3 open cases: the theft by taking from March of this year, theft by shoplifting from December of last year, and aggravated assault and aggravated robbery from 2020. So based on that, we are recommending that the bond remain the same. Nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Charles Hilliard is 24 years old. He has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area his entire life. He has family here, including his mother and sisters. Your Honor, we are unopposed to the stay away at 50 Clay Street. Mr. Hilliard completed the 11th grade. He is trying to connect with his GED program to continue that. He is disabled and has been so for the past 4 years, and I am working to try and see if I can get him connected with Attorney Bartels. Your Honor, I am requesting a signature bond on Mr. Hilliard's behalf. He denies the allegations. These are non-violent offenses. He is presumed innocent in the open cases. And as far as the willful obstruction of law enforcement, that was in 2017. We do believe that that is remote, and the offenses today for which he's presumed innocent are basically non-violent offenses. Thank you, Your Honor. And I'm requesting a signature bond.
I'm gonna leave the bond where it is, $1,000 for each count, makes it a total of a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Stephanie McDonald, stay away from the Village Garden Apartments, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Hilliard.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Richard James, position number 11 is next, please.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I apologize. It's Justin James first. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Position 10, right?
Yes, Judge. You can step to the back. I'm gonna put you in.
Just felony stack as well.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. James. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. James. You've been charged in case 22 CR 002305E with simple battery, hindering a person making an emergency telephone call, criminal, and 2 counts of criminal trespass. So your history, Mr. Howard, this is with felony also. Let's see, Ms. Tortorello.
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like some of his background or the bond recommendation first?
Why don't you go into the background first and then the recommendation and the history and the facts.
All right, let me pull up. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Let me double check, because when I initially was preparing, I did not see his GCIC that was pulled, but I was just told that we just pulled his GCIC, so
Need me to grab it?
I got it. Okay, he has 1 cycle, it looks like. He was arrested, it's just this cycle, and another cycle. So 1 cycle of Georgia. This case is what reflects on the GCIC. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like he has 10 cycles out of I'm trying to see what state this is, Your Honor. Hold on a second. Louisiana. And he's been arrested for domestic abuse of battery back in 8/15/2013 in Louisiana. No disposition. That's the most recent one I see here, Your Honor. And he's been arrested for armed robbery in 2010 and aggravated battery. Again, I don't see a disposition. For the state's recommendation, Your Honor, we're recommending a $3,000 surety bond for the simple battery, for hindering 911, a $3,000 surety bond, for criminal trespass interference with property, a $2,000 surety bond, and for criminal trespass damage to property, a $2,000 $500 surety bond, total of $10,500 in surety bond, Your Honor. Conditions is that he have no contact with the victim, and her name is Kenitra Lewis. Kenitra is spelled Kennitra, and Lewis is spelled Lewis. That he stay away from 6522 Beaver Creek Trail in South Fulton, Georgia. That he take a one-day anger management course, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on September 19, 2021, a Corporal J. Hardy of the South Fulton Police Department was dispatched to Site 6522 Beaver Creek Trail in South Fulton involving a physical altercation. Upon arrival, the officer met with victim Kenitra Lewis, who said the defendant, Justin James, is her ex-boyfriend and came to her residence to visit her. Ms. Lewis stated that she was involved in a verbal dispute with the defendant. Both parties were inside a Toyota Camry parked in the victim's driveway when the defendant threw a drink inside the vehicle and tore off the rear view mirror. Ms. Lewis said she then exited the vehicle and began to call 911 from her cell phone as she was walking to her residence. Ms. Lewis stated that the defendant grabbed her by the back of her neck and snatched her cell phone from her. Then the defendant proceeded to punch Ms. Lewis's face with a closed fist and to wrestle her. Ms. Lewis said her 14-year-old son began to fight the defendant to protect her. The defendant then took Ms. Lewis's cell phone and fled the scene. The officer took out warrants against the defendant on September 23rd, 2021, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, this defendant does have an open felony case, something that does not reflect on his GCIC. That's 22 CP 208348 for aggravated assault, deadly weapon, battery, and obstruction. The incident date was 2 years ago, September 12, 2020. He assaulted the same victim with a knife and caused a cut on her hand in this case. And he battered a Miss Deborah Lewis and caused swelling to her left foot and wrist. He does pose a risk of reoffending. His felony case occurred in 2020, and then this misdemeanor case before.
I'm sorry, I do apologize. I have a medical emergency. Can you please hold one moment, please? Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Yes, let us know when you're ready. South Annex, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Afternoon. We have anyone we can take, Officer Milton?
Yes, have Miss Williams, have a seat over there. Miss, come on. Yes, you. Have a seat. Have a seat back
Ms.
there.
Nielsen, can you do Miss Williams, because her mom is in the gallery for me.
Okay.
I'll take care of the situation.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is Miss Williams, position 24, Your Honor.
Is this your client, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Williams. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Did you hear me, ma'am? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
First arrest, what I have.
All right, Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. Bond recommendation is for the criminal trespass, $1,000 surety. For the simple battery on a law enforcement officer, a $2,000 surety, and for obstruction is a $1,000 surety bond. Total of $4,000 surety bond. No contact with victim, Officer D. Holloway of the Atlanta Police Department. To stay away from the Hilton Hotel located at 255 Cortlandt Street in Atlanta. A one-day anger management class, no drugs, alcohol, and no weapons while out on bond. Your Honor, on April 17th, 2022, Officer A. Augustine and Officer D. Holloway were dispatched to the Hilton Hotel at 255 Cortlandt Street in Atlanta in reference to a criminal trespass. The security advised the officers that the defendant, Jalecia Williams, and Takia Jackson were being loud and causing a disturbance to other guests. After several warnings to the defendant and Ms. Jackson, they were advised to leave and the defendant refused. Officers made contact with the defendant and Ms. Jackson and advised that they had to leave. The defendant refused. The officer attempted to place the defendant in handcuffs, and the defendant punched the officer, Officer Holloway, on the forearm. The defendant was arrested, and these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. I understand the defendant doesn't have any convictions at all, Your Honor, that this is her first. However, given the violent nature of the offense, Your Honor, I'm asking for that surety bond.
Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Miss Jalecia is 21 years old, and actually she was invited to her friend's birthday party. They had a gathering together, and she was one of the people who were guests to the main hostess, who was, of course, not arrested here. And she has been here in Georgia for 4 years. She has her grandma, father, sister, and everybody here in Georgia. And she has been working at Olive Garden as a waitress, as a server, last a month. And she did not even get any Miranda warning when she was getting arrested. She was handcuffed, so there was no way she could have hit anybody, actually. She's kind of shocked by the accusation and allegation that she denies. She was not criminally trespassing anyway, and on top of that, she was not actually hitting anybody either. She does have a learning disability, and she may have some hard time explaining herself because of her condition, and she completed until 11th grade, and we believe that she deserves to have a signature bond, and she is also recommended by pretrial service as a signature bond. So we would like to request for that. Thank you, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, just for the record, Ms. Jackson was also arrested that date. And the defendant, according to the warrant written by the police officer, was not detained at the point in time that she swung at the officer, Your Honor. Nothing further.
All right, it's gonna be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial for each count. So it's gonna be a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. No further contact with Officer Holloway. Stay away from the Hilton on Cortlandt Street, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Signature bond, right, Your Honor?
Judge, I do apologize. We can return back to position number 10, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Tortorella, I believe that you were in the middle of your you're in the middle of your presentation.
Iola factors, yes, Your Honor. So I did, like I mentioned, that felony case, and as far as risk of reoffending, the felony case occurred in 2020, and then this misdemeanor case occurred in 2021. And again, this is evident that he is more than likely to reoffend while he's out on bond. For neither of his crimes, Your Honor, did the defendant offer to turn himself in. It took 2 years for police to take this defendant into custody for his felony case and 1 year for his misdemeanor. More specifically, in both cases, this defendant fled the incident location on On his felony case, he fled from the officer. And in this present case, Your Honor, he was not at the scene of the incident location. As far as intimidation of the victim, the defendant will intimidate this victim. He has 2 cases against her, both involving violent crimes. And in this one, he hindered her ability to call 911 and fled the scene with her cell phone to assure that she would not call the police against him. The defendant wants control of this victim, Your Honor, and is controlling this victim. And therefore, there is intimidation of witness here. And again, I am asking just to remind the court for a total of $10,500 surety bond for this defendant. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Mr. Justin James is 34 years old actually, and he has been here in Georgia about 2 to 3 years. He does not have children with Miss Kenitra Lewis, and he's okay with stay away and no further contact with her. Only thing is though, Your Honor, he actually resides in Louisiana. He was in Louisiana for these convictions for the last 4 months. In jail, he was serving, and then he was actually transported to Fulton County last Saturday to resolve this issue finally. And so it seems like he already has served the time for the last 4 months for probation violations anyway. So we would like to the court to consider that, and he does not have a job at this point, and he has 11th grade education. He does not have any way to pay for a $10,500 surety bond. So we would like to request for signature bond, if not the lowest possible bond for like $1,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, for the simple battery, it's going to be a $2,000 good bond. For each of the other charges, it's going to be a $1,000 good bond per charge. Makes for a total of a $3,000 good bond. I mean, a $5,000 good bond, excuse me. Stay away from Ms. Lewis. No further contact with Ms. Lewis. Stay away from the Beaver Creek Trail address, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. James.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Position number 8 is next, please.
Good afternoon. Is this Mr. Ford? Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ford. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ford, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002277C with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
9 total. Well, this is 10th arrest. Last was back in September for criminal trespass. Hold on. No, last was back in November for criminal trespass. October criminal trespass out of Bibb County. Another October arrest out of Albany for criminal trespass. 2009 failure to leave campus, criminal trespass. Those were dismissed. Hold on. 2018 out of California, San Bernardino. It says escape and obstructing officer. The obstruction was a conviction. The escape was dismissed. And in 2012, it says kidnapping. That's it.
Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor, this is the case we requested for a breakout room due to MH issues.
Okay. Let's see. Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Falk, Ms. Gant, Ms. Bridgewater. We can go into a breakout room, please.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm trying to, I don't know, this is my first time using it. I'm trying to zoom in with Macy Shaw.
So the judge is currently in a breakout room. He'll be back later to finish the calendar. Are you a victim on the case?
No,
You just
no.
as a witness.
I'm really just trying to figure out like what's going on so I can see if she has a bond or not.
Yeah, so the judge will be back. Shortly to continue the calendar. So just sit in around and wait till you get to his case.
Okay, I think they said that she goes at 2 o'clock, so I'm in the right time.
What's the name?
Macy Shaw. MAICY SHAW.
Yeah, she's on this calendar.
Okay, so I just leave the phone on.
Say again.
I said, I just set the phone down and wait?
Yep, make sure you mute yourself though, so we don't hear your background noise.
Okay.
Hello. Hi, is anyone there?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm here for Gregory Page. I was contacted earlier about the court today. I am the victim in this case, and I
Okay.
would like to speak as well, if possible. So just want to
Okay.
say that I was.
So the ASG will probably make that announcement when they get to that case. So just sit
Okay.
back and wait for the judge
Yes.
gets to that case.
All right. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, courtroom 2, the bond's gonna remain the same at a $2,500 good bond. We're gonna have a social worker visit Mr. Ford, stay away from the Ritz-Carlton, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Ford.
Judge, I have position number 11 next, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. James. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. James, you've been charged 9F with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
13 total. On probation in Wayne County, sale of cocaine, possession of cocaine. Possessing, selling, distributing associated with ecstasy as well. Last arrest was 2016 for drug possession. Yeah, most of his history is drugs or forgery.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Cheney, is that correct? Is your case?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Sorry, I had a problem getting the right link today. The defendant was granted a $1,500 surety bond earlier. We will consent to that bond. This is a criminal trespass, entering the premises of the victim after having prior notice not to enter these premises. He does have many cycles. Most of these crimes are in Wayne County. A lot of them are probation violations. But as I said, the $1,500 surety bond with conditions of no weapons, no drug, alcohol, no violation of Georgia law. And we'd ask for no contact with this victim, Your Honor.
Can you tell me who the victim is? And if you want to stay away, can you tell me where you would like him to stay away from, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Can I get into, I'm sorry, I need to get into my bond sheet.
Okay, while you do that, Mr. Cheney, I'm going to go on to Ms. Kim and I'll come back to you as you're getting that prepared. Go ahead, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your
Thank you.
Honor. Mr. James Richard is 39 years old, and actually, he says that his complaining witness is actually his mother, Donna Moore. He actually resides with her, and he has been gone to the jail. He has been incarcerated for last 13 years and 8 months. And he just got out of the jail about 28 days ago, about 30 days ago, and he was ready to apply for Amazon to become employed and start his new job. He has a GED and he does not have any other place to go other than his mother. So he didn't know about that criminal trespass warning. So he's kind of shocked why he has a criminal trespass with his mother at this point. And as anyway that he's interested in having social worker services to see if there's any other housing options, since he cannot stay with his mother right now, most likely. But that's what's going on, and we would like to request for a signature bond, since this is his first criminal trespass, and there's gotta be a huge misunderstanding between him and his mother, who has not been had any contact for last 13 years and 8 months. And we also request for very, very low surety bond if it has to be surety bond. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Cheney, did you find the information?
Yes, Your Honor. The victim's name is Donna Moore, 315 St. Lucas Court, Fulton County, date of offense, April 16th. As I said earlier, there are 12 cycles, 4 felony convictions, drugs, cocaine, ecstasy, sale of cocaine, felony marijuana. He's been to Department of Corrections twice with 4 violations of probation. As I said, we consent to the surety bond and with the conditions of staying away from the victim. I do not have a report that's coming from the warrant. And there was no victim contact noted by the victim's advocate. I believe she tried but was unable to leave a message. That is our case, Your Honor.
Okay, it's going to be a $1,500 signature bond through the jail, social worker visit, no further contact with Donna Moore, stay away from the St. Lucas Court address, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. James.
Thank you, sir.
Judge, position number 13 is next, please. I'm sorry, with position number 10, was that SOB jail or pretrial, Judge? I'm sorry.
That's all right, it's through the jail.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You next.
No problem.
Good afternoon, Mr. Martinez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 002308B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
His 3rd arrest. Last was back in July. Criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Ag assault. 21 CP 201-300. That's an open pretrial case. And before that was an arrest out of New York, 2016 criminal contempt. disrupting court. That was a conviction. That's it.
Training.
Yes, Your Honor. This occurred on April 15th at 4320 Spring Creek Lane. Victim's name is Carolina, Karolina, Pribyalova, Pribyylova for the court reporter. This is we consider it a very serious case. A defendant's open case in June 10th of 2021 was aggravated assault strangulation against the same victim as this case, which involved battery, family violence, bruising, scratch marks, and significant injuries to the left knee, as noted by the police officer. He was granted, and I have a copy of the bond that was granted in Superior Court or by a magistrate assigned by a Superior Court. Judge was $10,000. It was a surety bond. It was a stay away from this victim. We would ask, Your Honor, for a cash bond of $3,500 because he has violated this bond already on a felony charge. And it is at the same residence which was noted on the $10,000 bond ag assault from Superior Court. So we would ask, as I said, $3,500 cash bond, no contact with the victim at all, no drugs or alcohol, no weapons, no more violations of Georgia law. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. If you'll put your hand down for now, I'll let your lawyer speak for you, and then if you need to ask her a question, you don't want your lawyer to speak for you. Ms. Kim, you want to speak with him?
Would you like me to call you? Would you like to represent yourself? I mean, can I call
In this case, yes.
you?
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
Mr. Martinez, again, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. A lot of times people think that what they're going to say is going to help them, and it ends up hurting them. This is a bond hearing.
Yeah, I'm self-aware of
Let the judge finish first, okay?
criminal contempt. I'm aware of the situation, but one thing I would like to state that the ADA is refusing to state is that an affidavit was signed in regards to that she would no longer deal with this case anymore. It was sent to the attorneys. You guys haven't seen me over a year. I've been stuck in Georgia. It's been hard for me to get a job, and then I didn't criminally trespass into the premises. I was invited in. No one can deny the fact that I was actually there because I was arrested there. This is the truth. But one thing I do know is that the battery did not happen. She was intoxicated. She drank a lot. And usually this typically happens when she drinks a lot. There is significant proof. In a bar that we went to, she got out the car and she fell out of the car.
Okay, hold on, Mr. Martinez.
Yeah.
Mr. Cheney, where's the stay away from? Could you give me the stay away address, please?
The stay away address is the same address as in the previous warrant, which is 4320 Spring Creek Lane. So the stay away was on the Superior Court warrant, and this incident happened at the same location.
Okay, so regardless of what what the alleged victim was doing, Mr. Martinez, you had a previous stay away from that spring.
I was unaware of that. And Sandy Springs Police ran.
Okay, well, again, Ms. Kim,
Yes,
you need to advise. I've already advised him that you have a right to remain silent, Mr. Martinez. As I've already said to you, a lot of times people will say things that think that they're helping themselves, and they're not helping themselves. You have already revealed that you went back to that 4020 Spring Creek Lane. You should have known that you shouldn't have been there. And you telling me that you're there does not help your case one bit. You understand what I'm saying? So, Ms. Kim, if you want to continue to speak on Mr. Martinez's behalf, please.
Yes, please. Mr. Martinez, he's 29 years old, and he has been here in Georgia for 1.5 years. He does not have a family nor a job. He has a high school degree. He also has about 120 college credits toward biologies, and yet he's having very difficult financial situations. So we recommended for social worker services for him to be considered. We would like to request for lower surety bond, maximum $2,000 surety bond. Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Unmute, please, courtroom 2.
Yes, Judge.
All right, so you were unaware allegedly last time, Mr. Martinez. You're not going to be able to say that this time because I'm instructing you that you're not to go back to that 4220 Spring Creek Lane address, period. You're not to have any contact with Miss Carolina whatsoever. No contact means no contact, no phone contact, no personal contact, no social media contact, no contact at all. You understand me?
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted to be on the record that when I did sign it, they didn't tell me anything about a TPO. They didn't tell me anything about a temporary order of protection, nor did the other judge state that.
Well, this is what normally happens in these courtrooms when you are, and the last time you were before a judge, and the last time, and we do this with every person that comes before us. I tell you everything, all of my conditions, so that you hear them, so that the lawyer hears them, so that your counsel hears them. I can't imagine that a judge didn't do that the last time because it's routine and it's what happens time after time after time again. So you telling me that you didn't know, that doesn't carry much weight because these hearings happen the exact same way, regardless of who the judge is, generally speaking. So it's going to be a $10,000 good bond, no further contact, to stay away, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Martinez. Who do we have next, courtroom 2?
Position number 17, please, Judge, Mr. Patterson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Patterson. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. You've been charged in case 22 CR 002302Y with criminal trespass, disorderly conduct, and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
This is third arrest. Last was 1995 out of Michigan. He's a resident of Philly. That's it.
All right, Ms. Tortorella.
Yes, Your Honor. For the criminal trespass charge, the state's recommending a $1,000 surety bond. For the disorderly conduct, a $500 surety, and for the obstruction, a $500 surety. That's a total of a $2,000 surety bond. That he stay away from the MARTA Peachtree Station, and that's located at 216 Peachtree Street Northeast in Atlanta. That he have no contact with the victim, S. Thompson. That he take a one-day anger management course, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on April 17, 2022, defendant Christopher Patterson was seen charging his phone on the platform inside a paid area of the MARTA Peachtree Center Station. The MARTA protective specialist, S. Thompson, a security guard, made contact with the defendant and asked him if he was boarding the current train. The defendant became hostile with Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson then advised the defendant he may charge the phone while he waited for the train, but he could not spend an extended period of time on the platform for the purposes of charging his phone. Mr. Thompson advised the defendant to leave, and the defendant refused to do so. The defendant's behavior escalated to where he began yelling at Officer Jay Lee of the MARTA Police Department, who attempted to get the defendant to calm down and leave on his own accord. The defendant continued to refuse to leave and escalated his anger by yelling louder and became more animated as he waved his arms around while he yelled. The defendant yelled that he wanted to be brought to jail and then began yelling at persons nearby, causing reasonable fear of safety for everyone around. The defendant was arrested, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, I heard from pretrial that he has about, I believe, 3 cycles. However, due to the nature of this offense, the state does not, we are recommending a surety bond, but we're not opposed to a signature bond for this case. Nothing further.
Okay, Ms. Kim, since they're not opposed to a signature bond, it's going to be a $500 signature bond for each count, which makes it a total of a $1,500 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from the Marta Peachtree Station, and no further contact with S. Thompson, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Is that fine with you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank
Good
you.
luck to you, Mr. Patterson.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Judge, I have position number 18 next, please. I'm sorry, you, Mr. Ramos.
Your Honor, this is a cross-defendant case. Is there any way that we can hear both at the same time?
Who is the cross defendant, Ms. Tortorella?
Stephen Satterfield. Mr.
What
Stephen.
position, what position is that? That's 19. I'm sorry, I see him right here. We'll take them one at a time, but Sergeant, can we take Mr. Satterfield next?
Judge, he has not been interviewed yet. Mr. Lewis is doing now,
Okay.
so he has not been interviewed yet, Judge.
Okay, all right, thank you. Appreciate it. So we'll take Mr. Reynolds. I appreciate that, Ms. Tortorella. Unfortunately, we can't. Good afternoon, Mr. Reynolds. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Reynolds, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002301D with simple battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yes. Hold on. A total of 4. Last was 2016 DUI, 2 counts. Before that was a 2012 DUI conviction. 2004 disorderly conduct, no law.
Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. For the simple battery, family violence, the state's recommending a $3,000 surety bond. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 surety bond. That's a total of $4,000 in surety. No contact with the victim or cross-defendant and victim, Stephen Satterfield. For the record, it's Steven. Last name is Satterfield, Satter, F as in Frank, IELD. To stay away from 1742 Brewer Boulevard, Southwest in Atlanta. A 1-day anger management class. No weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. Your Honor, on April 16, 2022, an Officer D. Parker of the Atlanta Police Department was dispatched to 1742 Brewer Boulevard, Southwest, and Brewer, for the record, is Brewer, in Atlanta, in reference to a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer spoke with the caller, defendant Reggae Reynolds, who said he and his partner, cross-defendant Stephen Satterfield, had gotten food at the fish market. When both parties got home, they began to argue at the driveway of the incident location. Mr. Satterfield became upset and threw the food at Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds responded by punching Mr. Satterfield in the face and taking his phone. Mr. Reynolds then proceeded to run inside their home and lock himself inside the bedroom. Mr. Satterfield then broke the door to get inside the bedroom. Mr. Satterfield then got on top of Mr. Reynolds and started to punch him in the head and retrieved his phone. Both parties do live together, Your Honor, and Mr. Reynolds did sustain a scratch. And both parties were arrested, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, as far as risk of reoffending, this defendant has 4 cycles. Believe his last arrest was in 2016, as you heard from pretrial, for a DUI. He poses a risk of intimidating the cross-defendant here in this case, as they both live together, and there has not been sufficient time to cool off, Your Honor. This did occur about 3 days ago, Your Honor, April 16th, and nothing further from the state.
Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Reynolds is actually recommended for signature on bond by PTS pretrial, and he is 34 years old, and they live together across defendant and Mr. Reynolds. And Mr. Reynolds has been here in Georgia for 34 years, and his parents and siblings are all here in Georgia. He has a job. He has a master's degree from Morehouse a college in Atlanta, Georgia. He majored in finance. There was no violence related any crimes in the past. This is his first battery case. We would like to request for signature on bond. And also about the house, 1742 is actually his primary resident, where he's the one who's on the lease. However, Mr. Reynolds does not mind Mr. Stephen to stay there. He would like to request for no further violent contact, and that's it, Your Honor. Please consider for signature on bond. Thanks.
All right. For the simple battery, family violence, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial. For the criminal trespass, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial, making for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial. 1-day anger awareness. No further violent contact with Mr. Satterfield, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, Mr. Reynolds.
Judge,
Yes.
I just want to say now, the only defendants that I have in the courtroom they all belong to Mr. Lewis, and he's interviewing. But I do have Mr. Cortez that needs a breakout session. So if we can get the breakout session in courtroom 2, and then you can go to Union City.
Okay, so we need the breakout for the interpreter case, is that right?
Yes.
Position 4. Okay, who represents Mr. Cortez?
Wanda Gant, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, Ms. Gant. So, afternoon, Madam Interpreter, how are you today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Your Honor.
Good. Okay, so if we can put Ms. Gant, Madam Interpreter, into a breakout room in courtroom 2, and we will go
The South Annex.
to South Annex. Okay, thank you. So South Annex, we're ready when you are.
I think Deputy Milton may have walked away for a few seconds, Judge. I just tried to
Okay.
call, no one answered the phone.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have a question. Okay, this is my first time using this, and I don't know. I'm trying to see, is Macy Latoya Shaw on your calendar for 2 o'clock?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm on the right live thing.
okay, apparently you are, yes. Ms.
All right,
Shaw is position 20. Are you, what's your name?
Lamar, I'm her boyfriend.
Okay, Mr. Lamar. She should be coming up soon, all right?
All right, so I just put it back on mute.
You can put it back on mute, and once she comes up, if you would like to address the court, I'll give you that opportunity when she's before me, okay?
All right, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
All right.
And sir, you're gonna need to
Hello?
get out of your bed also. That's why I turned off your camera. You can't be laying
Hello?
in your bed, and this is official court here.
Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm here for David McKelly. Hello?
Mr. McKelly has not been heard yet, so if you'll just hang on the line until we get with him. What's your name,
Okay.
ma'am? What's your name, ma'am?
Shauna Morris?
Morris?
Yes.
All right, we'll be with you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy, Miss Bridgewater.
Wasn't expecting this. Michael, we're still trying to reach the South Annex.
Oh, say again, Ms. Hunter?
We're still trying to reach the South Annex.
Oh, I'm getting ready to call.
The bond amount for Patterson, number 17. I know it was JR, I just don't know the amount.
It was 1,500 total, 500 on each charge. Are they still not answering over there?
No, nobody answered the phone. Unless you want to the government account. She might want to the government account.
Oh, my God.
She might be doing felony. Let me go check.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Are we ready?
Okay.
Thank
All right, Officer Milton, who do we have?
Ms. Shaw, and she is position 20.
And who's representing Ms. Shaw?
J. Kim.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kim. Good afternoon, Ms. Shaw. I'm Judge Eric Warren. Yes, good afternoon. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Shaw, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002306A with battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Second arrest. Last was January 2020, FTA for shoplifting.
All right. Who's presenting for the state? Ms. Tortorello?
I am, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Cheney.
Yes, Your Honor, this is State versus Ms. Shaw. Date of offense is April 17th, 22 at 5401 Old National Highway. Victim, Yvette Bird Jones, YVETTE, Bird Jones, BYRD-Jones, spelled normally. She charged with battery. A verbal argument ensued, and the defendant is accused of throwing a mobile device, I would assume a cell phone, at the head of the victim, causing a laceration. The pretrial said the only charge is the theft by shoplifting in 2021 and a failure to appear for that shoplifting, but it was merged in a conviction. The state would recommend, because of the lack of a criminal history, $2,500 surety bond. Conditions would be no contact with the victim in this case, no weapons, no drug or alcohol, no new violations of Georgia law. That is our case, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Shaw is 37 years old, and actually she says that she was not the first primary aggressor. Indeed, the complaining witness, who is her mother, is the very one who started all this altercation. Actually, she also has Macy Shaw has bruises and scratches on her body. It seems like she doesn't understand why the police officer didn't see that. And she has been here in Georgia for 20 years. She's a single mother for 2 children, 8 years and 5 years old. And her mother is actually staying in her place right now. That place where the incident happened is Miss Macy Shaw's apartment, where she is the primary leaseholder. She has been there. She has not been having a job for the last 2 months, and there was no child support she has ever gotten. So she's going through some financial challenges as of now. She completed up to 11th grade, and we would like to request for a signature bond, as pretrial service has also recommended for unsecured judicial relief. She is qualified. This is her first violence case. We would like to request for a signature bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
Has anyone spoken to Ms. Bird Jones?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I have listed on my notes that there was an attempted contact, but if I may sound for her pursuant to Marcy's law, I don't see her on here.
All right. If Yvette Bird Jones is on the line, would you identify yourself, please?
Yes, here she is right here. So.
I'm right here. My name is Yvette Bird Jones.
Oh, okay. You're under you're with Mr. Lamar?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Can you activate your camera for me? All right, there you go. Ms. Bird Jones, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court, ma'am?
I just want my daughter to come home and be with her children.
Okay,
I
you're
want
not
our
afraid?
relationship to be better than what it was. That's it.
Okay, you're not afraid of her?
No,
This hasn't happened before?
no,
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
you're
All
welcome.
right. It's gonna be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Ms. Bird Jones, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Shaw.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, thank you, Mr. Lamar.
All right, so I can come down to the courthouse and pay that?
They're at the South Annex, and there's nothing to pay. She's gonna be allowed to sign her own bond, so she'll be able to sign herself out, but she's at the South Annex if you wanna pick her up when she gets processed
You don't
out.
have to pay anything. Oh, but we need to come directly to you.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Lamar.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Position number 5, Ms. Curry.
Good afternoon, Ms. Curry. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Curry, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002293C with criminal trespass and fare evasion. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
18 total. Last was August 2021 on MARTA, criminal trespass. 2 counts of misdemeanor terrorist threats. Those were convictions. July 2021 MARTA, trespass, public indecency. December 2020 probation violation, cruelty in the first, battery, family violence. It came off of a 13 SC 120701 case. August 2020 probation violation, same charges. January 2020 simple assault arrest. Another January 2020 trespass. 2019 shoplifting conviction. Got probation violations in 2019 for those same charges. 2018 theft of services, NOLO. 2017 probation violation, reckless conduct, NOLO. 2016 probation violation, battery, DV. And a 2011 ag assault, she was acquitted.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor, in this case, the defendant criminally trespassed at MARTA 5 Point Station located on 30 Alabama Street Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia. While having an active MARTA suspension, the defendant entered the station by walking through a broken fare gate without paying her required fare. Your Honor, the state's recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact, or I should say a stay away from the MARTA station. Your Honor, may I have a moment? I may have the wrong bond recommendation. One moment.
Okay.
Your Honor, my apologies. I'm going to start here on that bond recommendation. We're recommending $1,500 surety bond, a stay away from MARTA in accordance with any suspension, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, the defendant is a convicted felon with a violent history. She has been convicted of criminal trespass before, and once this year and last year. And on top of that, she has 9 probation violations. So there is a risk of reoffense here. So based on that, we are recommending the $1,500 surety bond, nothing further.
Thank you, Ms. Gant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Regina Curry is 31 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia her entire life. She has 3 children, ages 13, 11, and 5. We are unopposed to the stay away at 30 Alabama Avenue if there's an active suspension in place. Ms. Curry graduated from high school. She is looking for work and has been so for the past few months. She informs me that she was incarcerated for about 8 months and was just released 5 days ago. I am requesting a signature bond despite my client's history, Your Honor. There's just no way that she will be able to pay anything toward bond given the length of her past incarceration, and she understands that she needs to not return to that 30 Alabama Street. And of course, again, we are denying the allegations. Thank you.
South Annex, can you unmute for me, please? Ms. Curry, you do understand that if I let you out, you can't go back to Martin, okay?
Yes.
All right, so if you go back there, you're just gonna be right back where you are. So I'm gonna give you a signature bond. It's gonna be $1,000 signature bond for each count. So a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. Stay away from all MARTA and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. If they find you back at MARTA, you're gonna be right back here, Ms. Curry, and you won't get a signature bond next time. You understand me?
I understand.
Okay, good luck to you. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome.
Next we have position 14, Ms. McGee. I'm supposed to have it on like that. Sit down.
Who is this?
Ms.
Position
McGee?
14.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Ms. McGee. I'm Judge Eric Moore. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, Ms. McGee, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002307J with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
33 total between Nevada, California, and the state of Washington. Last arrest was back in December. Possession of possess unlawful paraphernalia. She is on probation in Oakland. It says concealed firearm in public. She also has 2 open cases in state court. Simple battery 2 counts, 20 CR 001 045A, 2 counts for trespass, 21 CR 001 204A. March 2021 out of Cali for robbery, battery on custodial officer. The battery was dismissed. September 2021 probation violation. January 2021 theft. That was later dismissed. 2016 burglary in the 2nd degree. 2016 trespass, refused to leave public building. Hold on. Yeah, check your chat, please. I can get this thing to go down. Hold on. Yeah. That's the California history.
Okay.
The state of Washington history was from 1998.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Cheney?
Yes, Your Honor. Date of offense, April 16th, the MARTA station platform at Peachtree Center. Criminal trespass, she intentionally damaged a plastic directory sign at the MARTA station in Fulton County, of course, arrested. The only Georgia conviction I see is a 2019 criminal trespass. No failure to appears. The significant history is, as pretrial said in California, I don't see anything violent. We would agree to would not be opposed to a signature bond, Your Honor.
All right, so it'll
and
be
to stay away from that station at MARTA. Thank you.
Okay, just the station or all of MARTA?
I don't know that. I mean, I'm new to Atlanta, so I don't know if she would have any type of what you guys would do as far as MARTA, but normally I would think that they would ban them from MARTA totally if they had some major violations, correct?
If there's a MARTA stay away in place, but if there's not a MARTA stay away in place, then she can go back to MARTA unless I say that she can't. So,
Well, I would ask because of her significant history, even though misdemeanors of damaging property, I would ask for a stay away from MARTA, Your Honor, but not opposed to a signature bond.
all right, so it'll be $1,000 signature bond through the jail, stay away from MARTA, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Is that fine with you, Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Good luck to you, Ms. McGee. South Annex?
Good afternoon, Judge. I'm with you again today. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Lewis. How are you?
I'm great. Today I'm in Cherokee County. I think the last time I talked with you, I was in Carrollton.
Oh, okay. Well, you're all over the place, it seems.
Yes. It's the time of reopening courts.
All right, great. And we'll be with you when we can, Mr. Lewis.
That's fine, Judge.
All right. South Annex, who do we have?
Position number 2, Ms. Aurora.
Good afternoon, Ms. Aurora. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. Ms. Aurora, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002290B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
First arrest.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant battered her husband, Mr. Ronak.
Hold it. Officer Milton.
Yes, sir.
Can you mute, please, for us?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Mitchell. Go ahead.
No problem. Your Honor, the defendant battered her husband, Mr. Ronak Shah, spelled Ronak, Shah, spelled Shah, by scratching him on the face, neck, forehead, and arm, and she also hit him with her shoe during a domestic dispute. Our victim advocate had an opportunity to speak with Mr. Shah, and he stated that he didn't want to press charges and that he called the police to give the defendant a warning. Your Honor, in this case, the defendant in this case still put her hands on her husband, and typically, well, as Your Honor is aware, for battery family violence, the state's going to recommend a $3,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Mr. Shah, a third-party transfer of their child. They share one child together. A stay away from 2729 Ashley, spelled ASHLEIGH Lane, Alpharetta, Georgia, which is their home address. 1-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Nothing further, Your Honor.
I see you there, Mr. Shaw. I'll be with you momentarily, okay? So just sit tight for me. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Deisha Aurora is 38 years old. She has been in the Atlanta, Georgia area since August of 2021. She has here her husband, who's on the line, along with a six-month-old daughter. She is here on a visa with her husband, Your Honor. Ms. Aurora is a stay-at-home mom. She does not work. She does not have the means to pay any bond. We are opposed to any stay-away conditions at the home. I had a chance to speak to Mr. Shaw, and I see that he's on the line. My client wants to continue having contact. We do not believe that we need any third-party transfer of the children. I would ask for a no violent contact order. Ms. Aurora denies the allegations. She does not have any prior history of violence whatsoever. I'm requesting a signature bond as she does not have the means to pay, and she is recommended. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Shaw, if you can raise your right hand, do you swear to affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
Yes. So we have wonderful marriage for 4.5 years. Things never happen. We have one daughter, like 2.5-year-old. Disha is wonderful woman, wonderful mother. and this thing happened unfortunately. So we moved from California. We were not aware of that it's just a warning, right? So that's why, like, just to situation calm down, like, it's I and her had a argument in the morning. So just to calm down the situation, I like to, like, uh, ask cop and intervene. But the thing is that they filed the complaint, which I'm not aware of. The law in California was different, and we moved like around 6 or 7 months back actually to Georgia. So that's why it happens. So I don't want to press any charges, or I don't want to pursue further.
Okay.
She's wonderful woman. No history or nothing. Like, we have wonderful marriage. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So did this happen in California before?
No, never.
Okay. And you're not afraid of her?
No, not at all. No. She can stay in the house. If anything happens, I'll move out. Like, that's what. Yeah. That is the thing. Yeah. That I can guarantee. Yeah. For my daughter as well.
All right. So it's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Shaw, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. All right. Good luck to you, Mr. Aurora. Yes, Mr. Shaw.
So this $3,000 bond, like, how it will be, like?
It is a signature bond, so she's going to be able to sign herself out, so she won't have to pay anything. Okay.
She doesn't need to pay anything, or?
No, she does not. It's a signature bond.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Good luck to you, sir. You also, Mr. Aurora. Who do we have next?
Judge, I have position number 4, the interpreter case, please.
Okay. So South Annex, we're going to take the interpreter case next.
That's fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. This is position number 4, Mr. Jose Cortez. Madam Interpreter, if you can raise your right hand for me, do you swear affirm that you will, to the best of your ability, translate from English to Spanish and Spanish to English?
I do, Your Honor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Cortez. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar.
Buenas tardes, señor Cortés. Yo soy el juez Eric Morrow y esta es la sesión de lista de causas estatales de trámite rápido.
We're conducting this calendar by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Estamos conduciendo esta teleaudiencia para evitar el contagio del virus. ¿Está de acuerdo con que tratemos su caso de esta manera? ¿Perdón? Yes.
You've been charged in case 22 CR 002292C.
A usted se lo acusa en el caso 22 CR 002292C.
With driving under the influence of alcohol, concentration 0.08.
Por manejar bajo el efecto del alcohol en un grado de 0.08 o más.
Improper or erratic lane change.
Por manejo errático y manejo inapropiado, cambio de carril inapropiado.
Driving under the influence of alcohol, less safe.
Manejar incapacitado por los efectos del alcohol.
Following too closely.
Por seguir demasiado cerca.
No insurance.
Falta de seguro.
Expired or no license on person.
Y por no tener la tarjeta de conductor para presentar.
Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
¿Hay antecedentes, señor Howard?
My file says first arrest. Not sure what the state has. Resident of Anderson, South Carolina.
Hay residencia desde Carolina del Sur.
Ms. Mitchell?
Señora Mitchell.
Your Honor, officers performed a traffic stop on the defendant for failing to maintain lanes.
Señoría, la policía detuvo al acusado por no mantenerse en su carril.
While he was driving a white pickup truck traveling on Holcomb Bridge Road.
por manejar una camioneta blanca en el camino a Holcomb Bridge.
Before the defendant came to a stop, defendant hit the vehicle in front of him and caused an accident.
Antes de llegar a parar el vehículo, el acusado ocasionó un choque con el vehículo de enfrente.
When officers approached defendant, the odor of alcohol was coming from his person.
Cuando la policía se acercó al acusado, había un olor a alcohol que provenía de su persona.
The defendant had bloodshot, watery eyes and slurred speech.
El acusado tenía ojos rojizos y cristalinos y también balbuceaba.
When asked if he had anything to drink, the defendant stated he consumed 7 beers in the past 7 to 8 hours.
Cuando se le preguntó si había bebido alcohol, el acusado dijo que había tomado 7 cervezas en un periodo de 7 a 8 horas.
When removed from the vehicle, the defendant had difficulty maintaining his balance while walking.
Cuando se le hizo retirarse o salir del vehículo, el acusado no podía mantener el equilibrio al caminar.
During their investigation of the accident, officers learned that the defendant's vehicle wasn't insured.
Cuando se está examinando el episodio del accidente, la policía se da cuenta que el acusado no tenía seguro.
They also learned the defendant didn't have a valid driver's license.
Y también se enteraron que el acusado no tenía una licencia para conducir.
Officers performed field sobriety tests on defendant.
Los policías le hicieron un test de sobriedad en el área al acusado.
His ability to follow instructions were poor.
Y la capacidad para seguir las instrucciones dadas era muy pobre.
He was unable to maintain his balance and was unable to finish the test.
No pudo mantener su equilibrio ni tampoco terminar el análisis.
The defendant provided 2 breath samples and the results were 0.24 grams and 0.244 grams.
Se le hicieron, perdón, el acusado dio 2 muestras de aliento demostrando un grado de 0.24 y la segunda de 0.244.
Your Honor, there's a current bond of $11,000 surety on this case.
En este caso, su señoría, hay una fianza de $11,000, una fianza de garantía.
The breakdown is $5,000 as to the first count, 0 on the second count, $1,500 as to the following counts from 3 to 6. And that's,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
La fianza es de $5,000 para el primer cargo, ninguna de $0 para el segundo cargo, $1,500 que es una compilación del precio de la fianza de los cargos 3 a 6.
The state is requesting that that bond be adjusted so that the $5,000 surety as to count 1 be split between count 1 and 2.
La fiscalía pide que su señoría haga un ajuste en esta fianza, que el monto de $5,000 de fianza del cargo número 1 sea dividido y compartido con el cargo 2.
The bond total will still be the $11,000 surety bond.
Y el total permanecerá en $11,000 como fianza de garantía.
In addition to conditions of no driving and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons.
Con la adición de las condiciones de no manejar sin licencia y que queda prohibido el uso de drogas, armas y alcohol.
The state is concerned with defendant's risk of reoffending, being that he has a terrible history in relations to his driving.
La fiscalía tiene mucha preocupación que el acusado vuelva a cometer estos delitos, ya que tiene unos antecedentes muy pobres que indican la posibilidad que se cometa de nuevo los mismos infracciones.
Defendant has 7 cycles in South Carolina.
El acusado tiene 7 ciclos en Carolina del Sur.
Those include, he was convicted of open container of beer and wine and driving without a license in 2019.
Él tuvo una sentencia por llevar un envase de alcohol abierto y por manejar sin licencia en el 2019.
2 convictions of driving under suspension in 2016 and 2011.
I'm sorry, madam. For driving?
Under suspension.
Thank you. También tiene él 2 convicciones por manejar bajo suspensión de sus privilegios de conductor entre el año 16 y 17. 2016 y 2017, perdón.
He was also convicted of 2 counts of DUI in 2006 and 2007.
También este acusado recibió 2 convicciones en 2 cargos por manejar bajo los efectos del alcohol en el 2016 y 2006 y 2007.
In those cases, he was also driving without a valid license and operating an uninsured vehicle.
En esa oportunidad, él también iba manejando sin licencia y sin seguro.
So based on that, we are recommending the bond remain the same, aside from the adjustment. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Entonces, basado en estos hechos, pedimos que se haga el ajuste pedido anteriormente y que se mantenga el mismo monto de fianza. Nada más, su señoría.
Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jose Cortez is 37 years old.
El señor Cortés, su señoría, tiene 37 años de edad.
He informs me that he relocated to the Atlanta, Georgia area from South Carolina and that he's currently employed.
Él me ha avisado que él se ha establecido y se mudó de Carolina del Sur y tiene empleo aquí.
He's employed at Sanchez Tires and has been so for the past 5 months.
Él está empleado en Sanchez Tires durante los últimos 5 meses.
In addition to being employed here, he has his brother.
Aparte de estar empleado, él tiene su hermano.
And he has 4 children, ages 20, 16, 12, and 9.
Y tiene 4 hijos de 9, 12, 16 y 20 años.
He completed the 6th grade.
Él terminó el 6º grado.
And he's anxious to defend against these allegations, as he states that he did not make any statements to the police.
Y él está tiene mucha voluntad para defender estos alegatos, dado a que él ha declarado que no conversó con la policía.
He does not have much to pay toward bond, therefore I am requesting a signature bond.
Él no tiene mucho dinero para pagar lo que se pide como fianza, por eso pido una fianza bajo firma.
And if your honor determines that he is ineligible for a signature bond,
y si él no cumpliera los requisitos o se considera que no merece ese tipo de fianza,
then a bond of no more than $4,000, and that is $1,000 for each DUI count.
solicito que se le otorgue una fianza de $4,000, es decir, $1,000 por cada cargo.
And $500 for the remaining counts.
Perdón, por los 4 primeros cargos y por los que restan, solo $500 de multa por cada uno.
And that would be each, Your Honor.
Y eso va a ser de nuevo, por los restantes.
And lastly, if we are unopposed to any driving restrictions if he is not duly licensed. Thank you, Your Honor.
Y no tenemos ninguna problema con que haya restricciones por drogas, alcohol o armas.
Okay, so for each of the DUI charges, it's gonna be a $2,000 good bond. For each of the other charges, it's gonna be a $250 good bond. So that's gonna make it a total of a $5,000 good bond. No driving without a valid license, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Entonces, establezco que tenga una fianza de $2,000, una fianza de garantía por los primeros cargos. Por el resto será de $2,500 y dará un total de $5,000 de fianza bajo garantía. Quedan las restricciones estipuladas de no manejar sin una licencia válida y queda prohibido el uso de alcohol, droga y armas.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Cortez.
Mucha suerte, señor Cortés.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter. We appreciate
You're
your help.
welcome, sir. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Judge, repeat the bond amounts on the other charges other than the DUIs. You say $250 good bond?
Per charge, yes.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay.
Judge, I have position number 3 is next, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bourne. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 002291E with simple battery family violence. Is there a history? Mr. Howard?
8 total. Last arrest was March 2020, assault 2nd degree. That was out of Maryland. Hold on. It was assault 2nd degree, theft, false imprisonment, destroying property. Those were dismissed. 2019 assault 2nd degree. I don't see a disposition for that. That might have been a conviction. Looks like it was. 2018 theft. 2017 possession, not marijuana. That was dismissed. 2014 possession of marijuana, dismissed. Got history out of Virginia as well. Got a 2021 February larceny, 2nd conviction. 2018 grand larceny, guilty. And this is it. This is first Georgia arrest.
Ms. Mitchell?
Yes. Your Honor, the defendant battered his girlfriend, Miss Dream Jackson, by poking her in the face with his finger. Miss Jackson and the defendant do not share any children, but they've been together for 2 years and have been living together. It started when the defendant got a hold of Miss Jackson's phone and saw messages from her child's father. They had a verbal dispute before Miss Jackson left for work. While she was at work, the defendant kept calling her cell. When Miss Jackson came home, she saw the defendant in the guest room with a picture of Miss Jackson and the defendant's daughter, a pistol, and the magazine on the floor. There was also a note on the ground close to those items stating the defendant doesn't want a funeral and wants to be cremated, and all of his belongings should be split between Miss Jackson and his daughter. After seeing the note, Miss Jackson went to the main room to avoid the defendant. The defendant followed her and started an argument. Miss Jackson saw the defendant had the pistol in his right pocket. The defendant used his index finger to poke Miss Jackson below her left eye. That's when Miss Jackson defended herself and took the pistol from his pocket. As a result of Miss Jackson's defense, she broke 3 of her nails and weave was pulled from her hair. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $2,500 surety bond, no further contact with Miss Dream Jackson, a stay away from the address 1991 Delowe, spelled Delowe Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, a 1-day anger awareness course, and BHET or MHET, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, the defendant is a convicted felon with a violent history of a prior felony assault conviction in 2019 out of Maryland. Our victim advocate also had a chance to speak with Ms. Jackson. She stated that there's also been a prior incident in DeKalb County. I believe she is on Zoom, so Your Honor may sound for her at a later time. The state also has concerns the defendant is a flight risk. He has an FTA in 2018 out of Virginia and an FTA in 2013 out of Maryland. So, Your Honor, based on that, we are recommending a surety bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Gant?
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Barnes is 30 years old. He has been in the Atlanta area for 1 year. He, of course, has his girlfriend here. That's his only family. We are opposed to the stay away at 1991 Delowe. Mr. Barnes informs me that he lives there with Ms. Jackson. However, if the court determines that a stay away is appropriate, he does have an alternate residence. Your Honor, Mr. Barnes completed high school. He works part-time at a company called Fetch. However, he is unsure if he still has that job because he is incarcerated. He also works when he is able to in a self-employed business as a magic room videographer. He denies the allegations, Your Honor. He states that he was basically taking efforts to leave.
Is it me?
A heated situation. Ever, I am unopposed to the BHET and would ask that Your Honor grant a no violent contact order, as I did have the occasion to speak with Ms. Dreams Jackson. She states that she wants to continue having contact and she is fine with him returning to her residence. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. I saw Ms. Jackson on the line earlier. Ms. Jackson, are you still on the line with us?
I am.
All right. Can you raise your right hand for me, ma'am?
Yes.
Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, ma'am. What would you like to tell the court?
Gregory Barnes has been my boyfriend for 2 years. We've had a great relationship. All relationships go through, trials and tribulations. We have started and tried to blend our family a few times. And since we've been here in Atlanta, which was my move, not his, he came to support me. We've, been through different trials and tribulations when it comes to work and, living, but we've always been able to manage to come through and be able to succeed and progress on the other side.
All right. So on the 16th, you had occasion to call the police to assist you. Is that right?
No, I actually didn't call the police. I was in the house as he did leave out after an argument that we had. And I was in the house and the police came to my door and I didn't expect them. So I was told by security of the apartment complex that they reached out to the Atlanta Police Department on behalf of him, I believe, because he came to them, I guess, saying that he, needed more assistance, and they advised him that they would be calling Atlanta PD, and he may or may not have wanted that to happen, but of course, I guess they had to follow their own protocol, in which involved Atlanta PD, and then Atlanta PD showed up. I did not call them. I was not aware.
Okay. And you're not afraid of him?
I am not.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Anything further, counsel?
Nothing from the defense.
No, Your Honor.
So it's gonna be a $5,000 signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with Dream Jackson, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Can I
Good luck
ask
to-
a question?
Yes, Ms. Jackson.
Does the signature bond mean like he gonna sign himself out?
Yes,
And I
that's,
pick up? Okay, thank you. Is that today?
as soon as the jail gets around to processing him. So
Understood.
it could be within the next 24 hours or so, okay?
Understood. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am.
Your
You
Honor,
also, Mr. Bourne.
Thank you.
Your
Ms.
Honor, this concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, have a good afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow, if possible.
Yes, make us stay, make us stay.
Did you hear Mr. Howard, Ms. Gant?
I'll oblige tomorrow. Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow, Ms. Gant. All right, who do we have in courtroom 2?
Judge, I have position number 1, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Abdullah Harris. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video? Thank you. Mr. Abdullah Harris, you've been charged in case 22 CR 0022898 with criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Yes, last arrest was back in January, probation violation. On probation in Gwinnett County for burglary, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Possession of a Schedule 2 controlled substance. October 2021, they gave him 6 years to serve, 5 years probation. On probation for battery, family violence, and obstruction. That's out of state court. He has 3 cases in state court. He's on probation for it. Has history out of the state of Wisconsin. 2014, operating while under the influence. 2014, resisting officer, operating while revoked, is what it states. I got the 04 arrest out of New York for resisting arrest. You got FTAs from December 2021, Fulton County for battery DV, obstruction, 2 counts, another battery, family violence. So I gave you that one.
Okay,
You want me to
thank
leave
you.
it at that?
Thank you,
All right.
Mr. Howard. You're good. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, the defendant criminally trespassed at the home owned by Mr. Trent White, common spelling. Mr. White advised the defendant to leave the home earlier in the day around 2 p.m. When Mr. White came back to the home at about 6:30 p.m., the defendant was in the home again. Your Honor, the state is recommending a $1,500 surety bond in this case to stay away from the home on 1506 Westwood Avenue, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, the defendant is a convicted felon with a violent history, which includes 2 convictions of battery, family violence, burglary, felony drug charges, and etc. But as far as criminal trespass goes, there is 1 count. He pled no to criminal trespass in 2021. The defendant also has 8 failure to appears and 3 probation violations, so he is a flight risk. So based on that, we are recommending the $1,500 surety bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
So what you're telling me, Ms. Mitchell, is that he was in Mr. White's home with permission, and he was asked to leave at some point.
No, Your Honor. It appears that Mr. White's home, I'm not sure if he's selling it, but originally there was a contractor working in it, and the contractor saw Mr. White in there. I mean, the contractor saw the defendant in the home initially, and then that's when Mr. White came at 2 p.m. to tell the defendant, you're not supposed to be here, because the defendant was claiming that it was his home. And then later that evening, Mr. White came to check back on the home, and the defendant was there again.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lewis?
Judge, thank you. And I appreciate the questions from the court as well. That is relevant because Mr. Harris, Abdullah Harris, had the keys. So I don't know what to call that when a person has the keys at a place that they are. even though someone else is claiming ownership. So, Judge, at this particular point, this young man is 38 years of age. He's lived in Georgia for 30 years. He's a high school graduate. And that's it. I'm going to ask the court at this point in time to give Mr. Abdullah Harris a bond. And I'm going to ask the court to not order a stay away from the premises. It sounds like from what I'm understanding, Judge, that we have an illegal eviction that's actually occurring. Since he was the possessor of the keys.
Your Honor, we're going to object. That's speculation. And Mr. White was clear that he did not know the defendant and that he wasn't supposed to have a home. And it's not clear how the defendant has the keys to this home, but it is not his home. And he was told twice not to be on the property. Nothing further.
So since I was still in the middle of my recitation, Judge, I'm going to ask the court to not impose a stay away. If this is a matter that of the owner wanting a person with the keys to be evicted from a piece of property, we have means of doing that. It certainly isn't the means that was exercised in this case. Thank you.
All right, so I don't know what's going on with the property, but until they can figure, just because you have a key doesn't mean that it's a key to the property or that you have a right to be on the property. I'm going to give him a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Mr. White, and to stay away from the 1506 Westwood address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. If you can present some evidence to me that this is an illegal eviction or something of that nature, Mr. Lewis, I'm happy to reconsider and modify the bond conditions in the future.
Yes, sir. We'll get that from his property as soon as he gets released.
Okay, very good. Good luck to you, Mr. Abdullah Harris.
Position number 12 is next, Judge.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what's that person's name on this one, Judge?
I think it's Mr. Lucas.
Lucas, okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lucas. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Lucas, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002310C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
17 total. Last was 2019 probation violation. Theft by taking. 2019 probation violation, ag assault. Given false name conviction, 2019. The original theft by taking conviction was from 2016. 2014 battery DV, 2 counts. Cruelty in the third, he got first offender for that. Disorderly conduct conviction from 07. That's it.
Mr. Cheney.
Yes, Your Honor. This happened actually on February 21st of this year. That's what the warrant says, at 1985 Lathrop Street Southeast. Victim's name is Priscilla Phillips. If she is on the line, we can hear from her later. As pretrial said, 16 cycles, several misdemeanor convictions, one possession of firearm by convicted felon put on the dead docket. The facts of the case: the defendant is charged with striking the victim, who is not his wife, but is the mother of his 9 children, charged with striking her in the left cheek with a closed fist. All of this happened in Fulton County, Georgia. The victim was contacted. She requests a stay away, says they are no longer in a relationship, says the defendant has no belongings at the residence, and she wants a law enforcement escort in the future should he want to see any of the children. The state's recommendation on the bond would be a $3,500 surety bond due to his many arrests. The conditions would be no contact with the victim, Miss Priscilla Phillips, along with no drugs, alcohol, no weapons, and no violations of Georgia law. That is our case, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Judge, no objections to the conditions. This young man is 44 years of age. I have a different address for him than the actual alleged incident address. A lifelong resident of the state of Georgia, 11th grade education, works as a commercial truck driver, long haul and short haul. No military service. Judge, I just asked the court to give a bond appropriate to this circumstance.
Okay. Let's see. Is Ms. Phillips on the line? If you are, and you'd like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so.
Sorry, Your Honor, I do see notes that she did not want to be on the Zoom call. She just wanted those wishes relayed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Trainee. It's going to be a $3,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Phillips. Stay away from the 1985 address. Third-party visitation with the children, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge, I'm sorry. Third-party visitation with
The children.
with the children. Excuse me. Third-party visitation with who?
Doesn't he have 9 children with Ms. Phillips?
That's what I heard the allegation was, that he had 9 kids. So we're having him visit with the 9 kids?
No, if he wants visitation with the children, he's going to have to do it through a third party.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So I don't want to deny a father their right to see their children and visit with them. He just can't see or be in contact with Ms. Phillips. As such, he's going to have to go through a third party to arrange for visitation. Okay?
Yeah, Judge, I understand. I'm just listening to what, so in essence, the court is saying that a third party needs to be present when he's visiting, but not Ms. Phillips Ms. Phillips cannot be present with him at the same time.
That's correct. And nor can he go through Ms. Phillips to arrange visitation. He has to go through a third party.
So we're on the same page, Judge. I just wanted to make sure that the court that what the court said was clear, because this is in essence a condition upon Ms. Phillips to be away from the kids while he's visiting with the kids.
Well, he can't be around Ms. Phillips. So, and I'm sorry, Mr. Lewis, we quite often in this court say third-party visitation, and I understand that you're relatively new to the court. So what I mean when I say third-party visitation is that he can have visitation, but he's gonna have to have a third party arrange it, and Ms. Phillips is not to be there, and he's not to arrange it through Ms. Phillips.
Understood.
Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
All right.
Come in.
Good luck to you, Mr. Lucas.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Position number 15 is next, Judge. McKelly.
Good afternoon, Mr. McKelly. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. McKelly, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002304G with simple battery. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
17 total. Last arrest was November 2021. Failure to appear out of Douglas County. 2018 FTA, Fulton County. 2016 possession of drug-related objects, possession of cocaine. 2 counts, 1 count misdemeanor obstruction. Had a 2015 battery. I'm not sure what happened with that case. 2015 suspended license, suspended registration. 2018 sale of marijuana conviction, given false name conviction. He had a 2010 battery DV, cruelty in the third. They were dead docket. That's it.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. On November 27th, 2021, defendant David McKelly did commit the offense of simple battery by punching the victim, Ms. Sharna Morris. For the record, that's CHARNA. Morris is traditional spelling, in the shoulder and arm. The South Fulton Police Department did take out a warrant against the defendant on November 27th, 2021. And all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honors, you heard from pretrial, this defendant does have 17 cycles. He actually has a current hold in another agency as we speak. So therefore, Your Honor, taking this into, just putting this forward, this information to the court, it's evident that he does pose a risk of reoffending. He is a flight risk. This incident did occur on November 27th, 2021, and he just got arrested for this charge 5 months later. This is evident, Your Honor, he will not come to court and take responsibility for his case. Again, the hold is more proof, Your Honor, to that flight risk. As far as intimidating the victim, Your Honor, it's very obvious. He knows the victim. He knows where she lives. They have a relationship. So for this reason, Your Honor, I am asking for the simple battery, a $3,000 surety. The state will be opposed to a signature. Conditions that he have no contact with the victim, Sharna Morris. And by the way, Your Honor, she is present in the Zoom today. Stay away from the 130 Glace Road address in Atlanta. The Glace is spelled G-L as in log, A-C-E. A one-day anger management course, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law, and nothing further from the state.
Ms. Lewis?
Judge, can we hear from the victim in this case prior to my argument?
That's fine. I think I see you there, Ms. Morris. If you can unmute yourself for me and raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down, ma'am. Thank you. What would you like to tell the court?
Well, I would like to say is on the night of that incident, we did have an altercation, but we worked it out. And from that point on, like we've been, getting help with our situation. And I think I don't want to press any charges. I want to drop everything.
Okay. Do you live at the Grace Road address?
No, sir. At the time, I was staying with my aunt.
Okay.
And he wasn't staying with me, but since then we have our own place.
So you live together at the present time?
Yes, sir. We're engaged. Yes, sir.
Okay. Has this ever happened before?
No, sir. It was just one time.
Okay. And this allegedly happened on November 27th of last year. And you've had no problems since that time?
No, sir. No problems at all.
Are you afraid of him?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor, if the state can ask her one question.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Tortorella.
Ms. Morris, how long have you known the defendant?
Dating 2 years, but knowing him, I've been knowing him since like middle school, elementary school.
Okay. I just want to notate to the court that this victim, Ms. Morris, has known the defendant for over 5 years, Your Honor. He did have a battery arrest back in 2015. The state has not confirmed whether this arrest involved this victim before this court, and I just want to notify Your Honor that before you make your ruling. Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis?
Judge, I wanted to hear from the victim because of what I heard from the person who is accused before you today. The part that's important is that in this, at the time of this alleged event, this young man is 38 years old, Judge, and I heard the state say he's got a hold from some other jurisdiction. And then they opined that he was a flight risk. Judge, he's been in the hospital for the last 30 days. In fact, on this past Monday, he underwent open heart surgery. So that's the person that's in front of you that's the flight risk because he ain't been in anybody's court and has missed whatever other events that he's got going on involving the law on whatever cases he's got. He is a resident of the state of Georgia. He's a master barber. He had some failures to appear during the middle of COVID, of course, given his medical issues he had going on. Lifelong resident, high school grads, certificate in HVAC as well as cosmetology. Judge, I would ask the court to give this young man a signature bond at this time. If he's got a hold, then so be it. If he doesn't have a hold, then so be it. But give him a signature bond at this time, and I will represent him hereafter.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Anything further, Ms. Tortorella?
Just that I see more than 2 FDAs on his record. The 2021 that pretrial mentioned, in 2018, he had 1 out of Fulton County and 2 in 2015 out of Fulton County, Your Honor. Nothing further.
It's going to be a $3,000 signature bond through the jail, no further violent contact with Ms. Morris, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. McKelly. Who do we have next?
Judge, we can go back to Union City, please.
Okay. Who do we have?
Position 22, Ms. Smith.
Good afternoon, Ms. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Smith, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002298D with 2 counts of battery family violence, criminal trespass, and obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
Latasha Smith, 7 total. Last arrest was in 2015 for battery. She was convicted for it in 2016. DUI conviction from 2008. Reckless conduct, battery / simple battery family violence, dead docket from 06. That's it.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor. On April 16th, 2022, an officer, Kay Hammock of the Fairburn Police Department, was dispatched to the incident location at 3729 Point Circle in Fairburn involving a domestic dispute. Upon arrival, the officer could hear screaming from an older female and items being thrown inside the home. The officer could hear a younger female and a younger male yelling back at the older female. Upon entering the residence, the officer observed the defendant, Latasha Smith, pulling on the victim, Daniel Davis's hair. The officer pulled out his duty taser, engaged the laser lights on the taser, and announced himself. The officer ordered that both parties separate and cease fighting. During the officer's investigation, both parties were yelling at the officer's face, and the officer had to use a pushback technique to get the parties away from him and each other. Mr. Davis did comply with the officer's orders. The defendant, however, would not calm down, and the officer had to detain her due to her irate behavior and officer safety. The defendant did make statements prior to her arrest that she did lay hands on Mr. Davis and her daughter, Miss Brianna Stewart, For the record, Brianna spelled B as in boy, Reanna, Stewart, traditional spelling, because she believed both parties did not reside at the residence. The officer spoke to Ms. Stewart, who advised her mother started the eviction process, but that the paperwork had not been finalized by a judge, nor was she served with an eviction. Ms. Stewart confirmed with the officer that she did reside at the location by providing an ID. Ms. Stewart advised that she and her boyfriend, Mr. Davis, were in her bedroom when the defendant kicked the door, grabbed her hair, and pulled her out of the room. The officer observed a scratch on Ms. Stewart's left cheek on her face. Ms. Stewart said that Mr. Davis physically intervened in order to separate the parties, which resulted in the defendant striking Mr. Davis in the face twice. Officer observed 2 small scratches on Mr. Davis's left cheek on his face. And the defendant was arrested, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, what I saw on the GCIC is that she has 6 cycles. As you heard from pretrial, she did plead to a battery in Fulton County State Court, involves a different victim. That case number is 16 CR 006661Y for the record. She was arrested in 2003 for battery and cruelty to children in the first degree by the Atlanta Police Department. That was dismissed. She was also arrested on May 24, 2006 for battery, family violence, and reckless conduct by Atlanta Police Department. That was dead docketed. Your Honor, we did speak to the victim's daughter. I'm sorry, Your Honor, it's been a long day. The defendant's daughter. The victim stated that they do live together, and she would like no violent contact. And the victim did state that that she has been violent with her before, and that police were called but was not arrested. Given the statements of this victim, given the fact that she was arrested for cruelty to children in the first degree, I have not confirmed whether it involved Ms. Stewart back in 2003. I ask that they have no contact, Your Honor. My recommendation is battery, family violence. For the battery, family violence, a $4,500 surety bond for each count. So $4,500 for each count. And those will be surety bonds for the batteries. For the criminal trespass, a $2,000 signature bond. For the obstruction, a $1,000 signature bond. That's a total of $7,500, and that's a split bond. That she have no contact with victims Daniel Davis and Brianna Stewart. That she stay away from 3729 Point Circle. Point is spelled Pointe for the record, in Fairburn. 1-day anger management course, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. Nothing further.
Is Brianna Stewart an adult or a minor?
To my knowledge, Your Honor, she is an adult.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lewis?
Judge, I would of course object to any family violence or anger management classes for reasons articulated to this court before on other cases. That is that it presupposes that a person is guilty. Judge, the recitation of facts that I heard is that the defendant had began an eviction process and found a young lady who is identified as her daughter in her house, in the defendant's house, in the bedroom with her boyfriend, who is not a resident at the home. That's what I heard. I also heard that the officer pushed a person's back, and following that, the defendant did not step back from the officer where everyone else, I guess, got pushed back. Judge, I want to ask the court to follow the victim's request in this. That is that there be no violent contact rather than no contact. I'm going to also ask the court to permit the defendant to return to the home where she had, according to the victim, began an eviction process. Judge, my client is 44 years of age. She has a failure to appear that I am aware of because of the way that the British way that we write on tickets that people appear at courts, meaning the days and the months are transposed, and then she herself turned herself in after being told that she misread it wrong. She is a lifelong resident of the state of Georgia, has a bunch of family here. She works as a welcome coordinator at Oak Street Welcome Center. She has 5 children, Judge. And that's it. And of course, Judge, I'm going to ask that the court impose a signature bond at this point.
Okay, so for each of the battery family violence, it's going to be $1,000 good bond. For each of the other 2, it's going to be a $250 good bond. It's going to be a total of a $2,500 good bond. No further violent contact with either Daniel Davis or Brianna Stewart, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Give that bond to me one more time, Judge. I didn't get that one quite so well.
That's fine. $1,000 for each of the battery charges, $250 for the criminal trespass, $250 for the obstruction. So a total of $2,500 good bond.
And Your
Thank
Honor, the state was able to confirm the victim's age. She's 20 years old, Ms.
Okay.
Stewart, and she's actually on the line as iPhone.
All right, okay. So, Ms. Stewart, if you're on the line and if you'd like to address the court, this is your opportunity to do so. You don't have to, but if you'd like to address the court, this is the opportunity. Okay, with nothing being said, good luck to you, Ms. Smith. All right, who do we have next?
Judge, I have position number 16. Mr. Page, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Page. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the state court expedited accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Page, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002303Y with battery family violence. Is there a history, Mr. Howard? You with me, Mr. Howard? You must have stepped away for a minute, Ms. Tortorello.
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like the defendant's background? I'll go ahead and give it to you. What I see on GCIC is that he has 2 cycles. And in 2002, he was convicted for simple battery in Clayton County State Court. On April 16, 2022, an officer, Raymondville Watson of the Atlanta Police Department, was dispatched to 1729 Libson Drive Southwest in Atlanta. The street is spelled L as in log, I, B as in boy, S-O-N. And this, he was dispatched in reference to a fight call. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to the victim, Meza Ziegler, and for the record, it's spelled M-E-S-A, that's the first name, and the last name is spelled Z as in zebra, E-I-G, L as in log, E-R as in Robert, who said the defendant, Gregory Page, had hit her last night at a club called The Suite at 375 Lucky Street in Atlanta. The defendant hit Ms. Ziegler in the face, and the victim struck back in self-defense. The defendant said that Ms. Ziegler was the one who struck him. A security guard had to separate the 2 parties. Ms. Ziegler sustained 1 laceration to her right eye and a swollen, bruised eye socket. Both parties have been living together for 1 year, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, the state's recommending for the battery family violence a $5,000 surety bond. The conditions is that he have no contact with the victim, Ms. Meza Ziegler, to stay away from 1729 Lisbon Drive in Atlanta, a 1-day anger management, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. We were able to speak with the victim, and I believe that she is on the Zoom today, Your Honor. She informed the estate that she and the defendant are in a relationship and live together. They share no children. She does not fear the defendant and is okay with him coming back to the home. The victim stated the defendant gets violent when he drinks, but this is the first time he has ever hit her. We are strongly against contact, Your Honor, given the injuries that she sustained in this case, Your Honor. She had a swollen, bruised eye socket and a laceration on her right eye, Your Honor. And that's the state's position for this matter, nothing further.
Mr. Lewis? Mr. Lewis, if you're talking, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, no. Thank you, Mr. Howard. I was speaking with Mr. Lewis.
Yes, Judge. What I had asked is if Mr. Howard had gotten back in to give us the record. And apparently he heard me, but you weren't able to hear me.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Mr. Howard. I'm sorry.
Page, third arrest. Last arrest was 2005, possession of marijuana. And before that was a obstruction, simple battery, simple assault on police conviction. That was from 02. That's it.
All right. Thank you, Judge. This young man is 41 years of age, Judge. We've heard about his 2 prior arrests from Mr. Howard. Judge, I'm asking the court to give him a surety bond in this particular case. What I understood is that there are 2 people that got arrested in this matter. There is one person who is saying
Mr. Lewis, I'm not sure with everybody. You're going in and out on me. Is it just me?
Okay, Judge.
No, Your Honor, it's the same for me.
We can't hear you, Mr. Lewis.
Chat him and tell him do you want me to
And Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is not the co-defendant case.
Correct.
Okay, right. I think he's got that mixed up.
Yes, Your Honor.
Whatever it is you need to do, Mr. Lewis, that you think that is best. Can you hear me? You want to see if we can hear you now? You are on mute though.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Lewis, I think that Mr. Satterfield is the one that you were talking about. We're on Mr. Page. Mr. Satterfield has a co-defendant.
Hold on just a minute, Judge. Maybe I do have them confused. One moment, please, Judge.
Okay.
Judge, I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience. I have a MESA Ziegler also being arrested. So I understand the court saying that this is not a co-defendant case, but I see 2 arrestees. So not on probation, Judge, works for Dick's Sporting Good Warehouse as a full-time employee. He is the caregiver for his autistic brother, Judge. He has no reason to deal with with anybody that's involved in this case, Judge. So for that reason, Judge, we would ask the court for a signature bond in this matter. Thank you.
All right, so I think that Ms. Ziegel is on the line.
Yes, I am.
Would you like to address this matter, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, can you activate your camera for me?
Okay, let me try. There it is. Okay.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Do you
Sorry.
swear?
Yes.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you can put your hand up. Before you start, pronounce your last name for me, ma'am.
Ziegler.
Ms.
Z is in
Ziegler.
Zebra.
Okay, yes.
E-I-G. Yes, sir.
Okay, yes, Ms. Ziegler. Were you arrested in this?
No.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, lack of communication, things got heated during, while, Miss Page drinks. I don't feel threatened, but to make everything easy on everyone in this situation, which is him and myself, I have packed up my things. So he doesn't, have to file an eviction. So I won't be there. I'll be leaving out from Missouri in another few days. I drive 18-wheelers. He's never had any violent tendencies towards me or, just a few words exchange, but never felt threatened or harmed. He has been a very good man to me. Okay. He has a very good heart. He's only a threat to himself between the anxiety, the depression, and the alcoholism. He says he wants help, but does not get in. So I beg the court to please let me have a signature bond and maybe he can get some help. And I'm out. I'm gone.
Okay, so you're not gonna be at the Lipson
No.
Drive address anymore.
Lisbon. No, it's called Lisbon. No, I've already made a couple trips yesterday and today.
Okay,
Yes,
and I take it that you don't want contact with him at the present time?
I have no problem. I don't feel threatened. I'm just going back to work. Okay, I drive OTR and I won't be back in the state of Georgia until August anyway. So.
Okay, all right. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate it.
Welcome.
Anything further, counsel?
As far as for the state, Your Honor, I just want to remind the court this did occur on April 16, 2022. And whatever you decide, Your Honor, but we strongly encourage no contact between the defendant and victim.
Well, it doesn't appear that there's going to be much contact given that she's going to be on the road. So a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial, no further violent contact with Ms. Ziegler, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Page. And you also, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
You too. Who do we have next?
Judge, we have position number 19. Mr. Satterfield is next, please.
How do I get after this?
Okay, and just so you know, Mr. Lewis, I'm happy to have the state recite the allegations again for Mr. Satterfield, but I've already heard them from Mr. Reynolds previously, okay?
Yes, Judge, you don't have to recite them again. I was actually interviewing him at the time that you all were doing that case, so we could hear it all.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, Mr. Satterfield. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. You've been charged in case 22 CR 002300J with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. 2014 shoplifting, giving false name, pled NOLO to the shoplifting. 2015 FTA for shoplifting, giving false name. Those were not prosecuted. 2020 shoplifting, first offender. He has history out of Tennessee. 2017 assault, domestic bodily injury, and the 2016 assault, domestic bodily injury. They both were out of Nashville. That's it.
Judge, can I get a clarification on something Mr. Howard read there? When you said the two shoplifting cases, and then you said, well, it sounded like you were saying that those were not prosecuted. The
The
first
failure
two
to appear.
before you got
The FTAs wasn't prosecuted.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor, just for the record, opposing counsel, Attorney Lewis, do you stipulate to the facts, venue, and ID of the matter?
No, I don't stipulate to the facts.
Okay, Your Honor, in that case, I'm gonna have to read the facts.
Do what you need to do, Ms. Tortorella.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
On April 16th, 2022, an Officer D. Parker of the Atlanta Police Department was dispatched to 1742 Brewer Boulevard Southwest in Atlanta. Upon arrival, the officer spoke to Mr. Reynolds, who said they came from the fish market after getting some food. When both parties got home, they began to argue. Mr. Satterfield became upset and threw the food at Mr. Reynolds. Then Mr. Reynolds responding by punching Mr. Satterfield. Mr. Reynolds then proceeded to run inside their home and lock himself inside the bedroom. After taking the Mr. Satterfield's cell phone, Mr. Satterfield then broke the door to get inside the bedroom. Then he got on top of Mr. Reynolds and started to punch him in the head and retrieved his phone. And both parties do live together. And Mr. Reynolds sustained a scratch. Both parties were arrested, and all these events occurred in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, I just want to, if you could please take into account, this is a multi-state offender, 3 cycles out of Georgia, 2 cycles out of Tennessee, 2016 and 2017 domestic assault arrests, 1 involving a bodily injury in Nashville, Tennessee. We are recommending a $4,500 surety bond for the battery, family violence, for the criminal trespass, a $2,000 surety, totaling $6,500 surety bond. You've already ruled, Your Honor, that he can have his cross defendant can have no violent contact, Your Honor. So obviously this would have to be a no violent contact with Reggae Reynolds, a 1-day anger management, no weapons, no drugs or alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. Nothing further from the state.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis?
Judge, he's 28 years of age, not a felon, no open cases, no missed court dates. The failure to appear that was read was declined, not on probation. He's resided in Georgia for 18 years, has family in the state of Georgia, not presently working. And from the earlier cross defendant, you heard that contact was desired so long as it's not violent. The recitation that I heard involves one person throwing food at, I don't know if the food ever hit the other person, but the other person in response to the food being thrown at, then punches this guy, and then what sounds like a brawl happens after that. That's the recitation that we got. Judge, I would ask for a signature bond through the jail with the no violent contact. The no drugs and alcohol, of course, is whatever the court wants to do on that. As far as any classes, you know my objection to that already. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to do the same thing that I did for Mr. Reynolds. It's going to be a $3,000 for the battery, a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. For the criminal trespass, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial per the judge. 1-day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Reggae Reynolds, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Satterfield.
What's that total?
4,000.
For the fee trial. Sorry, Judge, I overstepped my bounds. You can do it.
You've already done it, Mr. Lewis. All right, who do we have next?
Judge, we have position number 21, Mr. Smith.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Smith. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we are conducting by video to help prevent the spread of the virus. Do you agree to have your case heard by video?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Smith, you've been charged in case 22 CR 002299A with one misdemeanor offense and the offense of possession of marijuana less than an ounce. Is there a history, Mr. Howard?
6 total. Last arrest was August 2020 DUI. Has an open cruise in his second simple battery, 20 CP 192367. 2020 criminal damage to property. 2017 battery family violence. A 2014 DUI conviction. I didn't look up the disposition for the battery family violence and the simple. So I'll defer to the state.
Ms. Tortorella?
Yes, Your Honor, for the battery family violence, that arrest was March 16, 2017. That was dismissed because of diversion. Your Honor, on April 16, 2022, the defendant, Jonathan Smith, did commit the offense of pimping when he had transferred Summer Golden, and the last name Golden is traditionally spelled on the warrant, without lawful consideration, knowing it was for the purposes of committing the act of prostitution for which Golden was arrested for. The Alpharetta police did find less than an ounce of marijuana inside the defendant's vehicle during a search of his vehicle. The defendant was arrested, and all these events did occur in Fulton County, Georgia. Your Honor, as you heard from pretrial, he has an open felony case, and you heard that case number for cruelty to children in second degree and a simple battery. Incident date of June 7, 2020. He was given a $5,000 surety bond and is currently in violation of that bond, Your Honor, given the subsequent offense. He has 5 cycles. He's been convicted of DUI out of Gordon County Superior Court on September 30th, 2015, and arrested for DUI in 2020. It looks like that case is still open in Clayton County. For the pimping, Your Honor, a $7,500 surety bond. For the marijuana less than an ounce, a $1,000 surety bond, a total of $8,500 surety. The conditions, you have no contact with Summer Golden, stay away from Courtyard by Marriott, and that's the incident location at 12655 Deerfield Parkway in Alpharetta, Georgia. That he have take ADET, no weapons, no drugs and alcohol, and no new violations of Georgia law. And Your Honor, I recommended that ADET due to the fact that he's been convicted of DUI before. He has a current open DUI case in Clayton County, and he's was arrested for marijuana less than an ounce. Nothing further.
Mr. Lewis?
So, Judge, in this case with the recitation of facts, I understand that the young lady, I'm assuming it's a young lady, I don't know for sure, either was intending to do some prostituting or she did some prostituting as the defendant drove her somewhere. I don't believe that quite meets the elements for pimping under the Georgia statute. But we're not going to argue that at this point, Judge. We're going to let his future counsel do that. Today, we represent him because he is on your calendar, and apparently the public defender's office has a conflict with representing him with the other individual. Judge, he does not qualify for further because of his income. Judge, I'm going to object to the ADT. I didn't hear anything about him driving under the influence of anything, which is what his conviction record looks like. And I trust that the police department still know how to investigate that particular crime. He's a life resident of the state of Georgia, high school grad, Judge. He's had some college sophomore for adult full-time employee at a reputable institution. He has no children. And he has some failures to appear that I know of due to COVID-related matters. So I'm going to ask the court at this particular point in time to give him a bond. I'm going to ask that it consider a signature bond, given the recitation of facts with that charge on pimping, and also given the fact that the other crime is possession of marijuana less than an ounce and not DUI. Thank you.
Okay. So this is going to be a split bond. For the first count, it's going to be a $3,000 good bond. For the possession of marijuana, it's going to be a $500 signature bond through the jail. No further contact with Ms. Golden. Stay away from the courtyard by Marriott, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Repeat that
yeah.
one more time, Judge.
For the first offense, it's a $3,000 good bond. For the second offense of possession of marijuana, it's a $500 signature bond through the jail.
Thank you.
Mr. Lewis, Mr. Smith has his hand up. Mr. Smith, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. Would you like to advise him or hear from him, Mr. Lewis?
Judge, if you want to provide us with a breakout session so that we can quickly get it done, I'd be love to talk to him.
Okay, are we done in courtroom 2?
Yes, Judge, this is the last defendant in courtroom 2.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Mr. Lewis into a breakout room with Mr. Smith to see what he has to say. And while we're doing, so if we can go ahead and do that. And while we're waiting on that, Ms. Bridgewater, if you can start going over the calendar. So if we can put Mr. Lewis.
It will be my pleasure. Yes, sir. Okay, again, the reset date. I may have given you May the 2nd. It is in fact May the 3rd. I have those coming back on a Monday and we don't need to do that. So SAP is gonna be May the 3rd, okay? All right, here we go. Position number 1 is reset further notice with a $2,000 SOB through the jail. Position 2 is reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 3 is reset further notice with a $5,000 SOB through the jail. Position 4 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 total good bond. Position 5 is reset further notice with a $2,000 total SOB through the jail. Position 6 is reset further notice with a $500 SOB through the jail. Position 7 reset to the SAP calendar with a $500 good bond. Position 8 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,500 good bond. Position 9 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 total good bond. Position 10 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $5,000 total good bond. Position 11 reset further notice with a $1,500 SOB through the jail. Position 12 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,000 good bond. Position 13 is reset to the SAP calendar with a $10,000 good bond. Position 14 is reset further notice with a $1,000 SOB through the jail. Position 15 reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through the jail. Position 16 reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 17 reset further notice with a total $1,500 SOB through the jail. Position 18 reset further notice with a total $4,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 19 is reset further notice with a $4,000 total SOB through pretrial per judge. Position 20 reset further notice with a $3,000 SOB through pretrial. Position 21 reset to the SAP calendar with a $3,500 total split bond. Position 22 is reset to the SAP calendar with a total $2,500 good bond. Position 23, reset further notice with a $1,000 total SOB through the jail. And position 24 is reset further notice with a $3,000 total SOB through pretrial. Are there any questions, corrections, or otherwise?
What was number 22 again?
Position number 22 is going to be reset to the SAP calendar with a $2,500 total good bond.
Wasn't something SOB jail?
I don't show anything.
So the whole thing is a good
It
bond.
was all good bonds. The first two charges are
Okay.
$1,000 good bond, and then the other two were $250 good bond.
Okay,
So
yeah,
what you
that's when
had
my computer went out then. All I heard was 2,500.
Okay.
What do you have for position 23?
Position 23, position 23 is reset further notice. It was a $500 SOB through the jail on each charge, making it a total $1,000 SOB through the jail.
Okay.
Did you have that?
I had that.
Okay.
Okay.
Water.
Thank you.
Okay.
When did we do 23?
That was the first case a long time ago.
Oh.
A long time ago.
That's the only file I had when she said she was done. I'm like, I got Mark Smith left. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, we took care of him.
All right, Mr. Lewis, you have an announcement?
Yes, Judge. After speaking with my client, I'm going to ask the court to reconsider its bond. The reason for asking the court to reconsider the bond, Judge, is this young man has just gotten out of the hospital. He has 2 holes in his esophagus and has suffered a brain injury as well. The medication, even though he's got insurance through his employer, the medication is quite prohibitive in its cost. And so I'm going to ask the court if it would, we even discussed, I'll tell you, that we've discussed the fact that this is only 3% or $300 if it were paid through a bail bondsman. And Mr. Lewis, the medication is high as all, and I'm not going to repeat the rest of the words that I intuited for him. So would you please reconsider his bond? Thank you.
Ms. Tortorella?
Your Honor, you've made your ruling. The state's asking for the bond to remain as set and as it was on record.
Given the condition of the jail and the history, along with the problems that Mr. Smith is incurring, for the first charge, it's going to be a $10,000 SOB through the jail. And for the second charge, a $500 SOB through the jail. So a total of a $10,500 SOB through the jail. Reiterating, no further contact whatsoever with Ms. Golden. You understand that, Mr. Smith?
Yes.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you to
That
Mr.
concludes my business, and I won't delay y'all getting done with this anymore.
Courtroom 2, Sergeant, we appreciate it.
No, thank you all for today. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, you be safe. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, y'all have a great night.
Thank you, you too. We'll see everyone else tomorrow also. Y'all have a good, safe